Right, and I'd love to get you guys on board for the initial launch of it, just to kind of like connect what you guys offer to smaller creators out there. So the plan is like 2 launches. Yeah, 1 big live stream and then like a appropriate 2020 setup video. But I'm gonna be documenting the whole process as well. On the phone with the company to potentially collaborate with some of the up and coming things. Yeah, that's right. Awesome, I'll email you guys some ideas and numbers and we'll see if we can't get something going here. Thank you, appreciate it. Let's talk about working with companies in 2020. A little bit insight of how I collaborate with products and whatnot. How I've also got a hold of people when I was a much smaller creator than what I already am. So as you guys heard today, I'm trying to gather some people to work with throughout the duration of this whole like setup journey, this new move. And then the idea is after it's all said and done, have it like a really big live stream and creating this really cool video from everything as well. It's gonna be a lot of work, but it should be pretty fun, I guess, too. So some people might be asking, yeah, but how do you figure out what those companies are? How do you get a hold of those companies? And how do you get them to work with you? Because like, no offense, BigE, none taken by the way, I completely understand. You're not that big of a creator. And I just don't understand how you get people to send you stuff. Now, before we get into this vlog today, I wanna point out too, because I'd made something like this before in the past and some people took it the wrong way. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not a, you just watch this video and you're gonna be able to get a company to send you out shit. I'm just gonna help you out if you're coming here thinking that by watching this, I'm gonna give you a link to where you get free stuff. Don't waste your time. This isn't that video. This is more of a lesson, how I actually go about doing this and how it's actually worked for years. I had like 5,000 subscribers on this channel after years. The first time that somebody major, like a major company sent me out a huge package, like monitors, graphics cards, and stuff like that. So let me say with that, actually, let me get a notebook so I can jot down some things. Okay. First and foremost, hard work beats talent. And I know a lot of people are gonna be confused as why I'm starting off with that and trying to give you like a metaphor that I'm sure you guys have heard before. But in terms of working with companies, this is a huge factor in what you do. See, a lot of people will let the smaller number get in their head. And I think a lot of smaller creators even out there kind of justify the reason for being smaller to not go above and beyond in what they do. The reality is the harder that you work, the harder worker that you can prove you are, even in your own content, the more willing a company is going to be to invest into you. They're going to be able to take that chance because they can see, yeah, you don't have numbers right now, but holy cow, wow, this person really works hard. And that was the case for me. So the first time, for example, when Asus sent me out a whole bunch of stuff, the reason why they did that, and I even spoke out to them, I was like, man, I'm not that big of a creator. Why would you guys give me all this stuff? And they were like, we see your streams, we see your YouTube videos, and we're inspired by your work. Even as a smaller creator, you know what you want and you're going out there and getting after that. And we wanna work with you in that situation. So remember, hard work beats talent. You know, some people have a natural eye for these things. The reality is that my videos sucked when I first started doing them. They still, in some ways, to this day, suck. I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to get better, but they improve and they get better because of hard work. Because I'm willing, after trial and error, after failing and failing and failing, to continue working at my craft. And I put in an extreme amount of work, even when the reality is that the videos probably might not get that much as a result for now. That's because I think big picture here. I think future. How will these videos, and me taking the effort and time today, plan out and pan out in the future? And that's another good point. Like what I just did a second ago, and I should have honestly done earlier today, is planning. By you being organized and having an objective and actually having a task, even if you know what you want to do in your head, I'm telling you, by jotting things down and having an approach to a situation, it's so much better. Like for example, if you want to contact a company and you know there are things that you want to say, like there are things that you want to point out, if you don't put those things on paper and you're in the moment and a company gives you a spotlight and it's like, okay, go ahead. Why you? By not having that plan, by not having that structure to your conversation, the odds of you maybe missing out on a few things that you should be touching base with are extremely high. Plan, take yourself serious. present yourself as a viable option. People forget that a lot of these companies that make millions of dollars in profit, they don't just go out on a whim. They make plans. So when they see you as a creator, and if you're wanting to work with them and they are maybe wanting to take a chance to work with you, they gotta know that not only are they planning to do something, but you yourself are planning and taking action and taking yourself serious. So the whole like reaching out and just saying, hey, I'm an up and coming creator, work with me, is probably not going to suffice. Be prepared to have that option on the table. Grab your analytics, grab what you typically do, type out and about you, and have that ready to go. I actually have a couple Word files on my computer right now, ready to go with some current up-to-date stats. Every month I sit down, add new stats. Okay, this is how many impressions I'm getting. This is how many sales I'm getting for this company. Prepared, be willing to show that you're willing to work. Yes. Keyboard update. This isn't going to be like a permanent switch. I just did a tour of this keyboard, but also in a recent video, I asked you guys, would it be cool if I did like a blacked out version? And man, look how this turned out. I don't know why it's so clean to me. This turned out sicker than what I thought it would. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this. Speaking of planning, we are getting everything packed up actually rather fast. The whole transition is going smooth in that sense. Now we just gotta make sure everything else goes smooth. One thing that made my conversation with Asus kind of weird last year is I kept kind of asking, why me? You know what I mean? Like I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself, like to understand like, why are you working with somebody smaller like me? Even though I just told you that they gave me a definitive reason why. As genuine as I can be about my stuff, and I work really hard towards it, right? I'm not like trying to act, I'm not trying to be fake, I'm brutally honest about shit, and that's what they wanted to work with. But it's still like at the time, I allowed the number of being a smaller creator to really get to me, and I came off not as confident. And I really feel like over this last year, our relationship could have been tenfold better if I would have had that confidence, if I would have just came in and created the work and been like, here it is, here's this stuff. But as creators, sometimes we beat ourselves up. As people, actually, we beat ourselves up from time to time. If you want to work with somebody though, and even have them ship you products and spend money on you and take a chance on you, you gotta be confident in yourself to get the job done enough for them to be confident that you will get that job done. So confidence, I think, is a huge factor in that. And over a period of time, confidence just kind of comes naturally. And I also do know that there's a difference between cocky and confidence. I think there's actually a fine mix between the two. Once you develop that confidence, you kind of get cocky in your own work, and you kind of get that attitude and natural flow down for things. Don't get too cocky. Not everything's owed to you. You know, you're not the best ever. Somebody's always willing to take your spot. That's for sure. Everybody is replaceable. We all are. Like, I'm replaceable for this content. Everybody's replaceable, man. Don't ever rely on being too cocky in a situation, but definitely have confidence, man, especially with these companies. They want to know that they're working with somebody that believes in themselves before they even need to believe in you. Oh, just got my workout in for the day. I've really been slacking on it. Having breakfast right now, a little breakfast salad. Another big factor in terms of doing this stuff is obviously you gotta have data or some kind of proof or backing to show that you can turn product, right? Because some companies, at the end of the day, even though there's this kind of pipe dream that you think that they're just trying to work with you, that they just, you know, are feeling nice, and it's just like, here, take this. Which, don't get me wrong, some companies do kind of look at it that way, but in a sense, the whole objective is marketing on their end. They are trying to sell their product. So sharing the right stats on your behalf are crucial with kind of showing what you're capable of doing. For example, people would look at YouTube views. Let's just use that as a scenario, because that's where a lot of reviews are on products. That's where a lot of content creators collaborate with companies. So they would look specifically at the views, and what they don't pay attention to is impressions across all form of social media. Impressions are the number of opportunities, I guess. What is potential looking forward? Why in the now impressions are so much more important than my current views is because I have millions upon millions of impressions across my whole entire social media. But on average, you know, in a month, I probably get a few hundred to 500,000 views across my social media. But the potential is there to grow as time goes. Basically, impressions are my stuff is being seen by people. It's in somebody's timeline somewhere. They might scroll past it here and there, but it's an opportunity for it to be clickable. It's an opportunity for it to be seen. So me as a content creator, if I do something that is kind of targeted to somebody, you know, if I do a review on a Secret Labs chair, how many out of those millions of people do you think, for example, would want to know about a gaming chair? Maybe a lot of my other videos didn't cater to those large crowd of people that my videos are being shared in front of, so it didn't entice them to click it. But the reality is as a content creator, I'm still getting pushed out by my social media sites based on the content I'm creating. Might not have a shit ton of views overall right now on a video, but the impressions are there saying that in time it could grow, which again is a risk for some people, because the reality is the reason why these companies are willing to work with content creators is because they want to push sales. They want to collaborate with somebody to get their brand and product out there in front of the eyes of thousands to potentially millions of people. So understand that yes, some people are willing to work with you, and that's very kind of them and that's very generous, but all in all, the company is taking the risk for you to do a review, for you to collaborate with them, so that way they can hopefully believe in their product enough to turn around a sale. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to praise them. Just because somebody sends you a product doesn't necessarily mean that you automatically have to say, hey, this is awesome. People are gonna accuse you of that. If somebody's looking to point out the negative in everything, they're gonna find the negative. But don't oversell yourself in a product if you truly don't believe in it. Another productive Tuesday. You know what's better than a productive Monday? A productive Tuesday. Just something about like getting a great start on the week is love it. So you're working hard, you're making a plan, you got some confidence now, you understand what you need to kind of like leverage with your numbers. How do you get their attention? What's important? How do you get a hold of these people and talk to them from these companies? I think that's the biggest misconception and misunderstanding when it comes to a lot of this stuff is people just don't shoot their shot. Big tip I would give you is try not to reach out via social media DM. Sometimes it's not bad if you can't find like a PR or a sponsor, partner, affiliate link somewhere on the site. Believe it or not, if you go to a website, most places actually have like a form of contact where you can actually reach out in terms of some kind of partnership or just even a contact email. If you can't get a hold of that contact email or find that in some way, then maybe shoot your shot in social media DM. But I would really make that be your last resort. And one big thing I suggest to a lot of people, if you're to the point where you're wanting to work with companies, you're probably taking your brand serious, because let's be honest, this video isn't going to be for somebody who just tomorrow decides I'm going to start uploading to YouTube. Now I need stuff. I need people to work with me. Like, you at least have to have some kind of presence, you know, like I was just talking about leveraging your numbers. You have to have some numbers. I'm sorry, but you just can't start off tomorrow and people are going to want to work with you. So when you're to that point, when you want to take things more serious, one big suggestion I would make to you is get a domain, pay for a domain, go to like GoDaddy or Namecheap.com, find a domain that you like, buy that domain, and then sign up for like a Google email, Google Suite, I think it's called. Reason for this is I cannot tell you how many people actually told me that they take a more professional email seriously over like a Gmail, a Live, Hotmail, something like that. I'm not saying that your chances of working with somebody are slim because you don't have your own email. I'm just saying, if you're trying to make yourself look better, if you're trying to represent yourself and your brand in some way, you are going to come off more professional to these companies. You might just get their attention a little bit more. I know, for example, with me, if I get any form of collaboration through email, a company that wants to send me something or have like a sponsored project, if they don't have an actual like website, legit registered email, I don't even mess with them. Half the time it actually goes to spam and junk folders. For some smaller companies that you reach out to, your stuff might go there as well. Like I said, this is not some get rich quick scheme. This is not some like you put in like very little effort and you're getting something just because I showed you a video. This takes work. Like, working with companies, it's just that in itself. It's called work. These companies aren't going to take chances with you and send you out things if they can't see that you're actually out there putting in the work and building the numbers. But to the core, you would be surprised at how many people actually give smaller creators a chance. If you're leveraging hundreds of thousands of impressions across all your social media, try to use that towards your benefits and show these people that you're willing to work for something. Come up with some creative ideas. I've reached out to a lot of people throughout these years, got denied by so many companies and things. Tamron, for example, I've reached reached out to them, nothing. Sony, nothing. Some of the companies I ended up working with, I've reached out in the past too, just to offer, you know, some kind of collaboration. It is what it is. Don't take offense if somebody doesn't give you the time of day back or doesn't want to work with you. Let that motivate you. Let that inspire you to work, to be something a little bit bigger, like to be that brand that they would want to work with. I do want you guys as content creators to understand that you can leverage this amazing growth that you have right now. I mean, just for an example, people used to pay thousands of dollars for billboards on the side of highways, right? Like when you're driving from town to town and you see a billboard, people paid thousands of dollars of that to get like 10,000 impressions, people going back and forth every single day to see that billboard. People pay money for this stuff, people collaborate, so take a chance. If this video helped in any way, shape, or form, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on those notifications. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm out. Deuces.